Another day, another limited event where I got sucked by the RNG. 141 pulls and not a single Chongye. God, my luck has truly run dry. But who needs Kung Fu anyway? When you can kill your enemies by setting them on fire from a distance. To me, artillery is king in the battlefield. And that is why I'm not at all disappointed in getting pot 6 Firewhistle. At this point it's probably pot 10, but who cares? Firewhistle is genuinely fun to play, and this video is dedicated to bring the spotlight to our beloved artillery burb and ask the age-old question: should you build Firewhistle? Firewhistle is the owner of a Rim Billiton private military company. She's a 5-star fortress defender, although artillery would be a better name. Unfortunately, it's already been assigned to one of the sniper archetypes. The strength behind fortress defenders is obviously their long-range attacks, but that also made it slightly difficult to deploy them in smaller maps. Firewhistle has a high attack to suit her role as a long-range fighter, putting the enemies into eternal sleep before they get a chance to admire her midriff. As for the defense, Firewhistle is strong enough to take a few hits, and she gets a defense buff from her talent when blocking enemies. However, she's not that great at tanking arts damage, due to her lack of arts resistance and a pretty average HP for a defender. According to other Doctas, unlike Horn and Ashlock, whose kits are made for burst DPS, Firewhistle is more oriented towards sustained DPS. But what's the difference between burst and sustained DPS, you might ask? Well, it took me about 20 minutes to find the answer, and I somehow ended up in the Warframe subreddit. To put it simply, burst DPS is how much damage an operator can deal with one skill activation. Their talents and skills are built around to maximize the damage within this window. Burst DPS operators tend to be really strong during their skill, but not so much when their skill is on cooldown. Sustained DPS, on the other hand, is how much damage an operator can deal in a given time or in a full skill cycle, which takes into account the skill downtime as well. If an operator has a high burst DPS and sustained DPS, they have a high skill uptime, and vice versa. That is the most basic explanation I can give you, and do correct me in the comments below if I make any mistake. With that out of the way, let's talk about Firewhistle's talent. Firewhistle's talent, Flexible Fighter, gives her an attack buff while not blocking, and a defense buff while blocking. Additionally, the attack buff also applies to the burn damage to give her a little boost to her overall DPS. A red aura can be seen around Firewhistle when the attack buff is applied. While the defense buff is decent and Firewhistle has a decent melee damage, she is not the most efficient at killing enemies at close range, and this should only be used as a last resort. I always have another defender a few tiles ahead of Firewhistle to make sure that all the enemies are stopped in their tracks within the attack range of Firewhistle. Before we get to the skills, if you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to hit the like button, or burn it like Firewhistle does. That will help the channel a lot. Thank you. Firewhistle's skills are pretty simple. There are no modifiers like a buff or a debuff, and it only enables her to deal burn damage. Skill 1, Wildfire, is a simple auto-trigger skill that when triggered, Firewhistle deals a great amount of physical damage up to 4 seconds at level 7 and up. Burning enemies takes a percentage of arch damage per second. At M3, that's about 550 damage per second, assuming Firewhistle at Elite 2, level 70, max potential, and max thrust. The burning effect also triggers at melee range as well, which is great because it helps Firewhistle to quickly deal with anyone who got too close, so she can go back to lobbing shots again. The cheap SP cost gives S1 a somewhat consistent damage output, and is also suitable for AFK strats. And that's really about it for skill 1, it's simple and easy to use. Firewhistle's second skill, Scorch Earth, is similar to skill 1, but significantly better. This skill is manually activated and burns 4 tiles adjacent to the target upon impact for up to 6 seconds. The burn damage is more powerful, dealing a maximum of 85% of Firewhistle's attack as arch damage per second. As you can see, you can immediately notice that skill 2 hits or burns way harder than skill 1. The AoE aftermath could cover a lot of ground when fired in succession, making a great arena for playing The Floor is Lava. The AoE properties also extend Firewhistle's range when landed around the edges, and you can take advantage of that to kill enemies that almost slip through your forward blocker, for example. Just like skill 1, the burning effect also works at melee range, but unlike skill 1, Scorched Earth has a longer cooldown and a pretty short uptime. But in turn, it has higher average DPS than skill 1 thanks to the more powerful burn damage. During my testing, the 40-second cooldown was not much of an issue because Firewhistle almost always kills her target while skill 2 is active. It's kind of funny to see this skill in action because if this was a real-life scenario, your operators are at a great risk of friendly fire if you place them within Firewhistle's range. Fortunately, that is not the case, and I can enjoy our adorable burb commit arson. As for Mastery, I suggest you prioritize skill 2 thanks to the very strong damage gains. The Mastery upgrade adds almost 26% more burn damage, and having an AoE attack is miles better because you can kill more enemies. I can't really say the same about skill 1, the Mastery mainly improves the physical damage upon contact, and the burning damage only gets upgraded at M3. On top of that, Mastery doesn't give you lower SP cost, so only invest in Mastery 3 if you have some spare materials. So, should you build Firewhistle? 100% yes. She may not be as destructive as Horn, but you need to keep in mind that Horn is built to maximize her skill damage. Firewhistle will provide your squad with a sustainable source of DPS, and as an artillery type operator, she will ease the pressure off your frontline operators while being safe at the back. Yes, her range could be awkward, especially in the smaller sized maps, but even at close range, Firewhistle can hold her ground really well. Firewhistle skills are simple, yet it's also quite flexible, and she can easily fit into any type of squad. At the end of the day, who doesn't love an adorable bird lady with a giant cannon as a weapon? There is a slight Arsonist trait in her, but there is no Geneva Convention in Terra, so all is good. That is all I have to say about Firewhistle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!